Today's brand single-handedly made me fall in love with Swiss watchmaking again. And as for the watch, let's get into it! Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collectors Show. Very excited about this show because the review is all about a watch from Formex, yeah! Now, since forming back in 1999, this brand has built a fantastic reputation for finishing, innovative construction, and to just do things differently than any other Swiss brand out there. They're not a huge company, but since my review of the Essence 39mm with that amazing malachite dial, I have since wondered how these watches can be so good without them being one of the big boys. Well, doing a little bit more research into the company, the CEO of Formex, Rafael Granito, has been involved in Swiss watchmaking for decades, and his family own a little brand called Dexel. Now, they're one of the leading manufacturers of elaborated components such as cases, bracelets, buckles, for all the luxury Swiss watch brands out there. So it's no wonder their watches are so darn good, because effectively they are pretty much exclusively made in-house. Now, about 7 months ago, Formex came out with a 39.5mm version of their big beefy boy, the 42mm REEF diver. Now, not only have I got one of these 39.5mm divers to show you, it is in fact the recently released radiant bronze dial version, and it is something else, let me tell you. Tell them the disclaimer. Yes, Formex have sent this watch in for me to review, and I don't have to send it back. It's gonna be a biased review. I get that a lot in the comments below. Trust me, all my thoughts are my own, and I wouldn't do these darn shows if A, I had a script to read, and B, had to do what I was told. Anyway, are you ready for the most customizable, interchangeable Swiss watch that is on the market right now? Yes. Are you Formex ready? Let's go. And ladies and gentlemen, look at this beauty before our eyes.
Isn't it lovely?
Now, if you've been around the channel for long, you will know that I love vintage inspired watches, not modern ones. This, you would have to say, is a modern design watch, but I absolutely love it. It's basically engineering artwork, do you know what I mean? With so many angles, polished chamfers, curves. This watch is basically what 40 years of manufacturing luxury watch components and showing off what they can do all in one watch. Now, seeing there's so many angles, there isn't one sharp bit on this watch either though, which is crazy. So much detail. I love that polished beveling at the bottom of the case. The lugs are angled beautifully. The bracelet does look a bit thick, I must admit, but wow. And I haven't even talked about the blooming dial yet. Look how that plays in the light. But first impressions, this is something special. Quick spec check. So we got a 39.5mm diameter case. That doesn't include those flanks either side, which does give it a little bit of a Nautilus look, it has to be said. With those flanks, it's 43mm. It's only 11mm thick, which is incredible for a 300-meter automatic diver. 45.5 lug to lug means this is going to fit a lot of wrists. And yes, we do have a lug width of 22mm, which is the same as the 42mm REEF. That bracelet lug width does seem a bit wide, but I'll save judgment for when I put it on the wrist. Now, we got a flat sapphire glass protecting the dial, and judging by the fact that you can hardly get a reflection on this glass, we do have anti-reflective coating. We've got a signed screw down crown at 3 o'clock, and we've got a beautifully deep etched screw down case back with the Formex logo in the middle. This helps give the watch 300 meters of water resistance. More than enough for your commute to the office. Right, let's talk about this bezel, shall we? Because here is where your first customizable component gets found out. So this is a stainless steel bezel with a zirconium oxide ceramic insert
with a loom pip.
It's 120 clicks, it's unidirectional, it's very light, the grip is great, but the ratcheting would not get anywhere near the top 10 of the World Bezeling Federation. However, there is a trade-off, because look what you can do. You can take your bezels off! Something I've never experienced before. Usually when a bezel comes off a watch, I'm like, ah, I broke broken it. But don't worry, calm down. This is meant to happen. It's a little bit disconcerting because it is very easy to take off. It definitely does click in place. I do like the click. Have a listen. Bang, there's a definite click in there. There's no play whatsoever with the bezel, but it is a little bit light on the click. Have a listen. Very fidgetable, but a little bit too light for my taste. Formex sent me their stainless steel one, and it really does completely change the look. Almost as though you got yourself a different watch. Those crazy Swiss innovators, eh?
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Next up, the bracelet. Solid end links, solid links, short fat links, which means you get a tremendous articulation. The links are screwed. When you buy this watch, you can actually get this sized for you, so you don't have to do it, which is phenomenal. It does have male protruding end links, but they do go straight downwards, so I don't have a problem with that. The taper is very small. For someone with a smaller wrist like myself, I do like a good taper on a bracelet. You don't get it with this. But when we talk about over-engineering with this watch, just the pushers for the double deployant are just so well made. It's milled, and we also have a superb on-the-fly adjustment on it. I think to like 8 positions, which means you're gonna get a fantastic fit no matter your size. You can take this bracelet out just using your fingers, like so. Woohoo! Amazingly, these things are customizable without using tools. It's basically customizing for idiots, you know? Like you! All right. Definitely one of the best bracelets I've reviewed this year. I just wish it had a bit more of an aggressive taper to it. Now, Formex also sent me this beautiful rubber waffle strap with an absolutely gorgeous carbon fiber clasp with a stainless steel double deployant, and also we have another on-the-fly adjustment on here, which is patent pending. You can also put these straps on without using a tool. Just everything about Formex is special. Apart from one thing, but I'll save that till the end. Okay, let's look at the face. Dial time. And this is absolutely stunning, isn't it? Usually with watches, bronze is used for cases. Now these little dials is basically a result of months and months of testing and perfecting in their Swiss facility in Jura. The big problem with bronze, it discolors and patinas, which for most people, when they're buying a case that is bronze, want to see that patina look. However, with this dial, Formex wanted to keep this radiant bronze colour. It had to be coated with their proprietary lacquer. So don't panic if you buy one of these, that dial will stay this colour forever. There is a big rehaut, but it doesn't slope down, it just drops down right where the sapphire glass starts. We've got a printed minute track going around the dial, and these gorgeous applied markers, which to me look like doorstops or ramps for Hot Wheels cars. They're brushed, they're polished, they're gorgeous. We've got a short stubby hour hand, which to me is basically looking over top of one of those dust busters. And we have a sword minute hand, loom pip at the end of the seconds hand where it should be, and that Formex applied logo just below the 12 just is awesome. And if you know me, you know I don't particularly love a date complication. The date window is at 6 o'clock. Symmetry's still there, people. Only Formex does this deep facet either side of the window, which is like a calling card of theirs, and they have colour matched that date wheel. All in all, a truly magnificent dial, one that is definitely fitting to the price tag and fitting to Formex's reputation. Win! So we've got loom on the bezel pip, loom on the hands, and loom on the indices. Out of 10, let's see how this puppy glows. BGW9, beautifully done. It's not intensely glowy, but it'll be legible for as long as you want it. Formex use a Sellita SW300-1. Top of the class grade. 56 hours of power reserve, 28,800 beats per hour, a smooth 4-hertz sweep. This movement is COSC certified. Now, seeing that there are only 3% of Swiss watches that are sold yearly that are COSC certified, it sort of puts it into perspective, doesn't it? These movements have been shipped to basically an assessor, and if they run in between the -4 to +6 seconds a day, they get a tick as COSC certified. Now this costs a lot of money, people. Not only that, but Formex have had to regulate these movements before they go to the assessor, because that would be embarrassing if all of them turned out to be crap. So when I or any reviewer says COSC certified, don't take that lightly, especially with a brand like Formex, who aren't an Omega or a Rolex. They're a Formex! Right. Anyway, I do love SW300, I must admit. The winding of it is beautiful. Changing of the date. This has hacking and hand winding. It just feels like a luxury watch, which really it is.
Hello.
On my 6.5-inch wrist, thank God they made a 39.5, because if they just made that 42mm, I don't think I'd look at it or review it. For anyone that wants a small diver, this is not the one for you. Although it is a 39mm watch, it feels more like a 40-41. But because you've got such a small lug to lug, the watch fits great on my wrist. The bracelet is really comfortable. I know if it gets a bit tighter, I can quickly adjust it using their system, and how that bracelet plays with the light is incredible. This watch really does look the business. But do you know what? I love it just as much on this rubber strap, because it takes off a little bit of the stainless steel at the top and bottom of the case, and I think fits even better. You know, with all the customizable things that Formex can offer, you can basically have one watch that can look like 4 different watches. It's pretty awesome, isn't it? So there you go, the Formex REEF 39.5. What do you guys think about it? Positives, well, the construction, the finishing, the soft, non-aggressive angles, the amount of polished facets, the attention to detail with the crown, the grip of the bezel, the applied markers, the amazing customizations you can do with the bezel, the fact you don't need tools to take off the bezel or take off the bracelet or strap. The on-the-fly adjustments are awesome, and I do love that overall look. Negatives, well, there are always a little bit of negatives, aren't there? For me, I'd love the lug width to be 20mm. The watch just seems a little bit fat top to bottom, just my preference. Although I absolutely love the customization of the bezels, I am a little bit scared of, you know, how easy it comes off and how easy it comes on. Could you lose the bezel? And the ratchet is a little bit light for me. The only other thing that is questionable about this watch is in the box. It's a cardboard box with another cardboard box inside. You know, it doesn't shout luxury to me. This is a £2,000 watch. I'm not one that cares really about boxes, because these all go up in the attic, you know? And I do like the thought that all the money has been put into your watch, not the presentation. However, perception, I don't know if something can be done a bit better, because I think it does a slight disservice to this flipping watch. That is awesome. So yes, with the bracelet, this watch is £2,050. I think the extra bezels cost about £120. If you have this watch with this rubber strap, it comes down a couple £100. If you have it with the NATO style strap, it comes down another couple £100. Now, honestly, for me, I would get the bracelet because it shows off the engineering and design of the overall watch. Then, when you've got a few more readies in a couple of months' time, get this rubber strap. It completely changes the look of the watch. And in another couple of months' time, get yourself another bezel. We are not dealing with chump change here. This is not an affordable watch. I told you the backstory of this brand, where these watches are made, how these watches are made. What do you get for your £2,000 if you were to go for an Omega? A Rado. There is so much tech and kit in here that if it was to have an Omega as a logo, this watch would probably be about £10,000 to £15,000. But it's not. So you've got to buy into the brand before you buy into the watch. Oh, and one more thing, you get a 3-year guarantee for a bit of peace of mind. This and the Essence has made me fall in love with Swiss watchmaking again. So thank you, Formex. Now let's do a collaboration, shall we? Although I'm not sure what other innovations you can pack into this. Maybe a drone that flies off, I don't know. I'm open to anything. Here it is, my wife's first impressions of the Formex REEF 39.5mm radiant bronze version. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. The dial looks like flesh colour sometimes, which puts me off. The teeth remind me of an octopus or squid with teeth. On the metal bracelet, I don't like it as much as when it's on the strap. It's okay. Well, Formex, you've gotten away with that one, to be fair. Apart from the squid mouth thing, I'm not 100% sure what she was talking about there. Oh, big thank you to Formex for sending this watch in, and thank you guys for watching till the end. If you want a bit more of the Mad Watch Collector, click there and join. But if I've got you for a few more minutes, you know you want to. Come on. Come on, you got nowhere to go. Go on, click this one. Keep the algorithm cycle going, yeah? Come on, help me out, click it. Click it!